What to expect when flying into Bangkok. Hi guys, so this video is going to be a bit of a airport arrival guide for flying into Bangkok specifically, but most of these tips can be applied to flying into any airport. So this is a bit of a list of what to expect when flying into airports and a few tips to make that transition. So the first thing you need is an incoming slip and an outgoing slip when coming through security. So they'll give you these on the plane and you need to fill out both of them, your incoming and your outgoing, to be able to get past security. So with your incoming slip, you need to fill out obviously your flight details and your passport details, but also the address that you're going to be staying in the country. So that's why I always book either a hostel or an Airbnb or something for at least a couple of nights, or at least for the first night, just so you have an address that you can write down on that slip to get past security. I've seen a lot of people at the security gate with the person in front of them. They're like, "Where are you staying?" And they're like, "Oh, we're traveling through here to go to this other country, and we're going to be staying with some friend of a friend, and we're not sure about the address," and stuff like that. And it always holds them up. I see it every single time I fly into a country. So make sure you get an address. Now, if you don't want to book somewhere for the first night, you can always just look at some random hotel or hostel and just have that address that you put on the slip. But if they call up to check, then you might have to explain why you haven't booked there. Also, with that address, usually you're filling this out on the plane, so usually there's no Wi-Fi. Even when you get to the airport, you haven't got Wi-Fi for whatever reason. So I always take a picture on my phone of the address, or save it, bring it up on Google Maps and screenshot it. Coming into Thailand, they will stamp your departure slip and staple it into your passport, and this is your 30-day visa. So you don't have to worry about visas or anything for Thailand. If you're visiting for 30 days or less, you can just show up and they'll stamp it and you're good to go. If you're staying longer than 30 days, you can renew and extend your visa while you're in the country, or you can just country hop around and then come back if you want to do something like that. So once you get through security and you get your bag, the first priority is cash. So I would go to an ATM and withdraw a lump sum of cash. I do this every time. ATMs are usually way better exchange rates than any money exchange things you can find around. So I always use ATMs to withdraw cash. I usually withdraw a large amount of cash because when you're on the road, cash is king type thing. You need cash for everything. Especially in developing countries like Thailand, they don't have the pay-as-you-go by card, accepted everywhere type thing like in Western countries in Australia. So you need cash for taxis, buses, everything basically. So I always get out a big lump of cash. Some people are worried about walking around with such a big lot of cash on them, and they're worried about being robbed. What I do is I withdraw a big lump of cash and then I keep it in my big bag in my room or in my hostel locked up, and I only take out what I need each day. And then when that big lump of cash runs out, I get out another big lump of cash. And also, I wouldn't be too worried about losing cash on the road. I'd be worried about losing your credit card. Losing your credit card is way worse than losing any cash, because you have to order one, you have to ring up international number, they try to send it to you, but it doesn't really work. You can try and get money from home, but they have to send it through Western Union, which you have to find Western Union in a place. I've done this whole process before in Paris. It sucks. Don't want to lose your credit card. Losing cash is way less painful. So never take your credit card out. Always withdraw cash and then just take cash out with you. The next is a local SIM card. There's always a phone shop in the airport, so find that, get them to put in a local SIM card, and then you're good to go, because then you have maps, you have Google Maps, you can show the taxi driver, you can look where you're going, you can look up the hostel, things like that in real time. You can make phone calls to the place you're staying. If the taxi driver doesn't know where to go, you can ring the number and then they can explain where to go in the local language. So having a local SIM card and having internet access on your phone is very, very helpful. So I highly suggest getting that. One thing you have to remember is to unlock your phone to be able to have different SIM cards in there. So I would do that before you leave your home country, is to go into your phone shop and unlock that phone so you can have local SIM cards when you get to the country. So the next step is getting from the airport to your place that you're staying, your hostel or Airbnb. So usually the options are taxi, train, bus, or sometimes like shuttle bus from the airport to the city and to where you want to go. And the best place to get this information is the tourist information desk. There's one of these in every airport. They know all of the questions that you're going to ask. They've answered these, you know, it's their job to know this information. So they know exactly what you're going to ask. They know all of the answers, and you can show them the address of where you're staying, and they're like, all right, you need to catch this bus, then this train, you know, or you can get a taxi. It's going to cost this much. You can go to this side of the airport to catch that, to get there. So you'll be able to get all the answers, and you'll be able to know how much it's going to cost, so you won't get ripped off by taxi drivers charging you like double or triple the amount of what it should be to get to the city, because you already have that information. So definitely hit up the tourist information desk. Now specifically for Bangkok, if you're flying with Air Asia, you'll be flying into Don Mueang Airport. Hope I pronounced that right. And so there's basically two big airports in Bangkok, and you're flying into Don Mueang if you're flying with Air Asia. From there, you catch the A1 bus into town. It'll cost you like 30 baht, which is like $1. And then you can either catch the subway to wherever you're going, goes around the city, or what I did is just catch a taxi to my destination. And the taxi is really cheap as well in Bangkok. It only cost me like $3 or $4 or something to get where I was going for about a 30-minute taxi drive through traffic. And a quick note in terms of taxi drivers in Bangkok specifically, always get a metered taxi where they have the meter where it counts up how much money it's going to cost, because half the taxi drivers don't want to put the meter on and they just want to give you a price. And I've been going all over the city with taxis, and usually it's about double or more if you don't get a metered taxi. If they're like, oh yeah, I can take you there for, you know, 100 baht or 200 baht, and then I do the same trip with a taxi meter and it'll cost half that amount. So always try and get a taxi meter one. If they refuse, just get the next taxi that comes along. And don't get motorbike taxis because they're a complete death trap. Usually they don't have helmets for you. They're like the same price as a non-metered taxi. They're like crazy expensive. They're like, I just want to go across the city, and they're like, oh yeah, 300 baht. And then I get in a metered taxi and it's like 100 baht. And I'm like, why would I risk my life for a taxi, for a motorbike taxi, when I can just get a normal one, which is also air conditioned, which is nice. So yeah, hope this helps if you're flying into Bangkok or flying into anywhere and you want to know what to do first up. That's it for now. Also follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, put up heaps of travel photos, travel stories, Facebook, things like that. Everything is linked down below. Hope this helps. Until next time, bye. It's also got upstairs, you can go up and there's like a big floor on the roof that you can check out the view and everything. That's really nice. So there you go, $15 a night, $14 a night, very affordable, especially for your own private place, you know, with a room and a comfy bed and stuff like that, and still pretty close to the city.